All right, here we go. I am doing a review for this book, The Inheritance Games, by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Here we go. Let's get into it. So, just going to start from the top. Not a favorite. I would say this book got in between 2 and 3 stars, I guess 2.5. I was feeling like 3, then at times I was feeling like 2, so let's just go with 2.5. I just want to say this really wasn't the worst book. Like, if it really was the worst book, I'd be like, half a star, this book sucked, or 0. But, like, it wasn't the worst book. But it was fine. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so what this book was about this girl who I think is 16 or 17, named Avery. And long story short, she is in school, in high school, and she's, like, low on money. She's living with her half-sister because of reasons, I don't know, and she ends up living in her car. This all happens very quickly. She gets, like, summoned, I guess you could say, for this will reading, and lo and behold, quickly you find out she inherits literally billions of dollars from this person, Tobias Hawthorne, and everyone's surprised in the family. She like goes to the will reading, and everybody's expecting that, like, Tobias Hawthorne's grandsons are gonna get the inheritance or parts of it, and, like, everybody gets a little bit, and everybody's like, who gets all the money? Like, what? Everybody's only getting a little bit being like $200,000 or something for each person, and then it's like, and Avery gets the remaining amount, which is like $50 billion or something. So anyway, then the next part of the book is just like trying to figure out why this happened, like, more explanation. Why did he pick me? Like, seemingly a random person. Why did he pick me to inherit all this? And also, like, there's, like, the tension of like, people now have an incentive to kill her, because if they kill her, maybe they'll get the money. But then, like, things get revealed about, like, well, if she dies in this case, this is what'll happen with the money. If she dies in this case, this is what'll happen with the money. So anyway, that's, like, the very beginning gist of the book. Throughout the book, you kind of see Avery become closer with so there's 4 grandsons. She becomes close-ish with, like, 2 of them. And that's kind of, they just work together to figure out, like, clues based on information that was left behind by Tobias, the grandfather, who left this massive inheritance. And they just kind of work together, or don't, or figure out, like, Avery's, like, always feeling like, oh, are people trying to kill me? I'm safe. No, I'm not safe. Who's really, like, good, and who's bad? And I don't. Okay. Anyway, that's, like, that's at least the setting or the setup. So I guess reasons I don't like it. It was okay. I will say this. Like, I finished this book in about a week and a half, and I can finish a book in a day or day and a half, if it's, like, really that good. So, like, I just never really found myself, like, super eager to pick up this book. It was interesting enough. It was like, okay, you're still trying to figure out why Avery was chosen. Like, why is she this person that's supposed to be, whatever, interesting enough to be inheriting billions of dollars. And that's cool. Like, and there's, like, I like riddles. I like that concept. Like, oh, we have to solve this puzzle. And I guess the book wasn't as much of that as I wanted it to be, or the riddle wasn't that interesting, and the unraveling of the riddle didn't keep me pulled in. Like, they get you right off the bat. They're like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money to inherit it. What's happening? It's like, okay, here we go, on the ride. And then it's like, it doesn't live up to anything. It's kind of just, like, anticlimactic, sort of. I mean, things happen, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, but I don't know. Anyway, the main character is kind of annoying. Avery's kind of annoying. The 2 boys that she ends up being involved with have, like, there ends up being a little bit of a love triangle. I don't think that's, like, a massive surprise or spoiler. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a young adult. Like, there's going to be some level of romance. And anyway, so there's, like, I don't feel it, though. Like, I don't feel it between her and them, and those characters don't seem enticing or interesting enough to feel like there is any romantic interest or anything to be romantically interested in of them anyway. Like, I don't know, and things happen that are, I feel like the way the author writes it imply that there's like a romance happening, but you don't feel it as a reader. It's like oh, he looked at me and I could feel it, like I couldn't look away, and it's like there wasn't anything that like led to that made it feel like it was real, like I guess you could say. So, and just like little things kind of like, and it building up, like you could tell the author was trying to make it build up this tension or this romance or whatever, and it like really wasn't, it didn't really feel real though. Like the reasons it was building didn't feel genuine. There you go. I guess it just didn't feel genuine. Nothing, you know, of purpose I felt like was coming of that. Anyway, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, but it was okay. People compared this to Knives Out, the movie, and that was a good movie. I get it that they were comparing it, but really the only reasons I feel like it's compared is because somebody's inheriting a lot of money that people weren't anticipating that person to inherit, and now they have to figure out why. So like on that basis, sure, it's like Knives Out, but I wouldn't say that it's like as enticing or as gripping or as exciting of a story. Like, I don't know. They also just, things were happening in this book that didn't really make sense, and I felt like certain things weren't explained, or like, I don't know, I just felt like more could have been done with it. Or certain characters were just frustrating for their actions. I don't know. I feel bad, like, not really being able to fully explain why this didn't hit for me, but it just didn't. The characters weren't that exciting. The way things happened, there wasn't enough build-up. Or, not that I'm saying it should have dragged more, because honestly I felt like it already was dragging, but I don't know, like, the author, I guess, should have just made the big things that happened be more exciting, and they weren't. And I just wish there was more of like riddle stuff that was going on, and it wasn't a whole ton of that. And the way the characters ended up all connecting, like, was like, okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. That's just kind of how I felt about it throughout it, and at the end, and was kind of like, once everything was finally revealed, I was just like, really? Like, that's it? Like, that's what your big finale is? Like, it was fine. I was like, I guess if you want to make that make sense, we'll go with it. You know, like, and I it's not like it's a complete dud by any means, but it's just, I just felt like more, I guess, could have been done with it. I don't know. I want to say, like, it's too young adult, like, but there's great there are great young adult books out there and stories that pull you in, and it's fun. So, I don't know. It still was decent. I'm not trying to, speak bad on it too much. It was okay, and I read the whole thing. I will say I don't plan to read the next one. Like, some people are like, I read it, I didn't like it, but I'm still going to read the next. Or some people loved it and they want to read the next, and I'm like, I'm good. Anyway, I'm gonna go into spoilers a little bit. I don't want to. I don't even know how much exactly I'm gonna say, but I don't think I'd recommend it. I mean, personally, yeah, it just wasn't. It didn't do it. It didn't do it for me. I was like, the fact that I wasn't like super eager to constantly pick it up is just enough of a sign for me. And I never really reached that. Maybe the last 20%, like, things got moving. I mean, things were already moving, but they really got moving at the end, so that's fun. But I shouldn't have to wait till the last 20% for that to really, like, kick into gear. So anyway, end the video now if you don't want to hear spoilers. Here we go. So, spoilers. This was ridiculous that everything was centered around Emily. Like, why was she a factor? And if she was, like, why would Tobias, the grandfather, have all of his freaking earnings of his entire life, everything, his final puzzle he wants to give, like, he's lived for who knows how long, and he wants to have it all hinge on this one girl, Emily, that died, and his grandsons were struggling because she was kind of a savage and just playing both of them. So he's gonna have all of his inheritance hinge on this, the way it affected the relationship of, like, hire a freaking therapist. Like, find another method. Do anything else. You do not need to waste, in my opinion, billions and billions of dollars on somebody. Like, why are you making them all just go to her? Like, just make it go to charity. I don't know. Like, or give her half. Give her, like, $1 billion, and the other 45 billion go to charity. I don't know. It just, like, seemed ridiculous that it was too far-fetched. It was honestly too far-fetched. Again, I didn't feel like the characters were that well written. Libby, like different people were meant to be suspicious, and they just weren't. And like the fact that it was like Drake was the one in the car. Drake was, and Sky was the one that shot her. Like nothing even came of that. There was so much buildup of like, who shot me? Who was it? Who's after me? Which one of you? Like always scanning the room, always like saying like somebody's trying to kill me. Somebody wants me dead. Somebody wants me dead. And it just so much was like repeated, and I don't know. I was like, all right, we get it. Like, let's just move on or make the final findings more interesting because they just weren't. I don't know. Again, not it really wasn't like the worst book. I still read it and I still was like, all right, what happens? You know, like tell me. Like I was interested enough to find that out, but I don't know. I felt like more could have been more. It could have been better. It could have been something else. More riddles. I feel like different parts of it dragged. Different parts were just repetitive. Jameson was just annoying. Like and Grayson was like seemed to be the obvious choice, but she was just so torn up on Jameson. And then it just turned out that they were just still again both fighting over a girl. Like fighting. I mean, I guess they weren't necessarily fighting, but like I don't know. It just didn't give me anything. Like I was like, okay, this could have been a more exciting reveal at the end. This could have been, and so what? Like Tobias just was Harry the whole time. Like Tobias the second was just Harry. Like, and I will say, like, I didn't predict that, and I didn't predict that Sky was the one that shot her, or because it didn't seem like it was anything like super exciting. It was just like, oh, okay, he's just that person. So what? He's still alive. Okay, cool. Like, I don't know. I wasn't engrossed enough to be affected by it. And I want to be engrossed. I want to be engrossed enough to be like, oh my God, whoa, mind blown, you know? And I didn't have those extreme moments. I don't know. I'm trying to like find more. It just didn't do it for me. I don't know how else to really say that. Some stuff just didn't end up making sense. Like some of the riddles, I was just like, okay, so I don't know. Like Max, the fact that like just little things like that were thrown into the book that I was like, am I supposed to be like wanting more out of this? Like the fact that Max was like barely available and it was like, yeah, because everything's been blowing up my phone. I'm calling for my brother. It's like I didn't know if she was gonna come more into play, but she didn't. Like I was like waiting for that to happen and she didn't. And just like different versions of that kind of concept of like expecting something to be more than it was. Like Zara, I was expecting that to be more than it was. Also like the moment when Rebecca was at the top of the staircase or top of whatever, and she could have like, they made it seem like it was like, something's gonna happen. I don't feel safe. She's there. When is Xander getting back? And then nothing happened. Like literally nothing happened. Then Grayson I was like, she could shut the door. Like this could turn into a whole thing. Somebody could set a fire down in the cellar below and she's like stuck. Like, whoa, like that could be more like riveting. But instead, then Grayson just walks up and he's just like, yeah, no, Rebecca, go away. I got this. And then she just walks away. Like, it was like that type of anticlimactic that I just felt like a lot of the book was. I don't know. That's how it left me. I just feel like, okay. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Anyway. That's pretty much everything. I don't even know if I want to say I wish I had a better book review, but this is an honest review. It was yeah, it's alright. 2.5. I'll give it 2.5. 2 to 3, somewhere in there. So, probably not going to read the next, but I liked the riddles factor of it. Anyway, it was alright. It was cool. But yeah. Thanks for listening. 2.5 stars. We'll go with that.